Adam from Ecowise here. It's spring, early spring. Things are waking up. And I've come to one of my favourite places here, this quite a secret, magical valley. And I'm at the point where the two streams meet here. The confluence of these two streams. And I'm going to go up this stream. And you can't really see because it's quite sunny, but this still has cold winter air because we're at the bottom of the valley, so the cold air and the damp air next to the stream, so it feels like it will be one of the last places for the warmth and the vitality of spring to manifest. But actually, it's one of the first places to see signs of spring with some of my best friends. I will introduce you to a few of my best friends. We're going to have a look at them up there. So, it's early spring, and then we got this cold air by the stream here, but we're in a particular kind of ecosystem. We're in a broadleaf woodland ecosystem, and early spring, these guys and others, flowers that have evolved in this kind of ecosystem where they have bulbs to overwinter. Some countries have bulbs to pass through the periods when it's hot and dry, like in deserts and sometimes in mountains and stuff, but these have bulbs where they overwinter, and then in early spring, as soon as they can, when it starts just getting more light and warmer, they flower. And the trees above them, like here, these are mostly hazel and oak, haven't made their leaves yet. So these come out real early and do their beautiful thing and flower. So these are, they're actually not, they look like snowdrops and they're related to them, but they're not the snowdrops you'd have if you're in England, which are Galanthus genus. They're Galanthus, different, because they look similar. And these in English are called Snowflakes, which is a kind of nice name too. And they're called Leucojum vernum, is the Latin. And they're really, really beautiful little thing. I will show you more further on here, but look at the way it is here, nestled in with the stream. The rock with the moss on it, the ivy, it's just like beautiful. I'll get out of the way, you can see it. It's just like beautiful. And it's good. And look what I found also, look there. That's a fossilized bivalve shell. You see that? And that's when this whole area was under the sea. They think up until about 4 million years ago this whole area was under the sea. So there's kind of one of the reasons, the evidence they give for that hypothesis that it was all under the sea is this is a shell from a organism that would have lived in the mud. You kind of recognize these kind of bivalves, but it's fossilized. So this is actually stone now. It could be anything from perhaps even 20 million years ago when this whole area was under the sea. Look at this group of them here, how beautiful they are. In this, all this dead leaf mulch underneath these trees here with the spring early light low. And when you look close at the detail of them, they got these kind of hanging kind of bell, beautiful flower with green, not quite the tips are still white, but there's green just below. And then when you look inside, they've got these beautiful yellow stamens, the male part of the flower, with probably pollen, which is why they're doing this, to be pollinated early. I haven't seen anything pollinated yet, but these are designed so that insects will come and pollinate. But they look like, almost like characters at the fair or characters at the market, all in little groups having chats, which we can't do now because of social distancing. Naughty, naughty snowflakes. Don't do that, you've got to socially distance. There's so many of them, it's hard not to stand on them. And look at this place here, with this soft rock, this kind of sandstone, this marl, has been eroded by the stream. And probably because it's a soft rock, that happens quite fast in geological terms. Because a hard rock like granite or something would take millions of years to do that. But here I suspect it happens much quicker. It will still be thousands of years. And then on the top there, these trees, on the top of these kind of gorge that's been carved by this little tiny stream, are these trees that are really cool. Carpinus. Carpinus in English, hornbeam. Hornbeam, and they're kind of been coppiced, so they've been cut back by people over probably centuries, and they're kind of holding together the edge. It's just, what an amazing place. Here's another spring flower. It's beautiful in the woods at this time of year. Look at that. It's a green flower with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals in the buttercup family, and it's poisonous, and it's called Helleborus viridis. So the hellebore. And this plant is associated with witchcraft in Europe especially, and could have been part of the potion the witches put on their broomstick when they went flying, and some of the chemical properties in that help them to fly. But it's poisonous, all parts of the plant. But it's a very cool green flower at this time of year. So here's the hornbeam, the Carpinus, close up, and it's got this amazing, beautiful textured bark and this strange kind of trunk. It always reminds me of like the legs of some kind of large mammal, or some perhaps strange reptile, dragonian style. And it's a really cool tree and very useful wood. The leaves, this is only now at this time of year, the old leaves, last year's autumn leaves that fell off. And they look a bit like beech leaves, faggio. Look a bit like that. And here it is, beautiful. So here I am in this area where it's been cut away by the stream in this soft, smooth stone. And look at this, this is a seep. So water's coming out from the rock, because this rock holds a lot of water. And if you look growing up, you've got this amazing ecosystem of stuff that loves damp, shady. This is about the only time of the year when it gets a little bit of sun. Most of the time it's complete shade and very damp. So you've got all these incredible mosses, and I don't know if you can see, but there's this constant drip. So look at that seep and those drips coming down, and if you, the way they catch the light, just at this time of year, they're like little diamonds. They're like brilliant and they're shining. So beautiful. So the water's seeping out of the rock, and it's all year round it's wet here, but often very shady like I was saying, but you've got this incredible ecosystem, and you've got these wonderful ferns that are quite rare to see in the wild, and they're maidenhead ferns growing up here, all over there. And all kinds of lichens and fungi growing in amongst it. I'm sure if you got a microscope or something, you have a look, you'd find some very unusual, strange, incredible beasties. And here you've got a kind of sedge growing out here, somehow rooted in the rock. So it's that soft, this rock. Here's another of my spring friends. These flowers are so beautiful. They have different tonalities, but this kind of, I don't even know what it's called. Purple, mauve, violet, I don't know what that is, but it's so beautiful. This one's slightly darker. Now these trifoliate leaves, these leaves with 3 nice kind of sections, and they're kind of soft and a bit, almost feel tropical. So this is called Liverwort, Hepatic and Nobilis. And again, it's one of those plants that comes up in the early spring to take use of the light coming through the canopy, because the bigger trees and shrubs haven't got the leaves on it yet. I call them my friends because every year at this time I expect to find them here, and I come and I'm always feel happy to reconnect with them, and it's like I've got a bit of a personal relationship with these flowers. So it's like I have a lot of tenderness towards them, and they make me feel a certain way that I really like. They're so delicate and beautiful and resilient. They come up, even though it's still cold, it's the early spring, but they've come up and showed they're giving us this gift of these beautiful colours and form and beautiful energy. So that's why I call them my friends. It sounds a bit kind of crazy, I know, but they're kind of like friends, like the birds that are singing now. Also the great tit over there. They're like friends too. I know at these kind of places, this kind of time of year, they're going to be there to connect me back to the seasons and the cycles, and they're like a big part of my community. And I'm very grateful to be here and be able to, well, you know what I mean.